Now let's move to this health issue. People 50 years and older are now eligible for another booster shot of the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine. The health department saying it's part of their efforts to increase vaccine uptake. The over 50 age group has been the most responsive to the call to get vaccinated during the COVID-19 pandemic. Our reporter Nqobile Madlala has been tracking this story today. She joins me now with all the latest news. Hi there, Nqobile. Thanks so much for joining us in studio. So talk to me about the vaccination rates for COVID-19. How are we looking at the moment?
Well, Sally, what they're saying is that it's not exactly at a point where they want it. Right? You remember they had these numbers that they said over 300,000 people, this is what we're looking at. But at the moment, what they're looking at in terms of the numbers of people that are vaccinating, they're saying between 50,000 to 60,000 people are vaccinating per day. And so there are actually numbers coming in. So there's some people that are vaccinating, but at this case, it's not exactly what they were hoping for. In fact, I mean, we could see that today when they were speaking to this group that is now open for the second booster at this point. And we saw that it was empty chairs. It was empty. People hadn't come in, which is why now they're saying that they're going to intensify that voice. They're going to go out into the communities again and just sort of spread the word again and try and get more people to take the vaccine. But let's listen in. We spoke to the Department of Health and they explained further.
Let us make ourselves available. Let us turn out in big numbers. Let us respond positively, because today marks a very important day in which people above the age of 50 are now encouraged and, of course, allowed to take the booster shot. So it's a very important day. It's a very critical milestone in the fight and the battle against COVID-19. So we appeal to the people. And here in our province, the economic hub of the country, those in public transport in particular, which is the carrier of the economy. I can imagine the taxi industry, at the taxi ranks, in public transport, everywhere. Let us make sure that we take our booster shot. The importance of it is it boosts your immune system.
All right, and it's important because Jacob Mamabolo was taking his booster, his second booster, right? Yes. Which means he's had 4 jabs now. Probably.
Yes, so at this point he's saying that it's important for our immune system, Sally. I mean, remember, this is the time that your immune system is definitely compromised, because most of the time it's flu season. So he's basically just saying that he encourages people that are age 50 and above to ensure that they make sure that their immune system is strengthened by the booster.
Yeah. All right, let's listen to Foster Mohale of the Health Department talking about the vaccination rates.
We believe that as the week goes on, the month goes on, more people will be coming in numbers. We're going to continuously encourage people using different channels of communications, radio, TV, and also the word of mouth, to encourage people who are eligible for this booster shot to come forward to our vaccination sites. But also, we'll also be going to different communities through our mobile vaccination sites in order to take vaccine closer to the people. As we know that not everybody is staying closer to vaccine site, but we try to make it convenient for people to get this booster dose without incurring any financial costs through transportation.
You know, the cynics, of course, are saying government's just trying to get rid of its old stock. And people like me are asking, when is this going to be not every 3 months that I have to get a booster, but a once-a-year thing like influenza is? A once-a-year jab is easy, you know, and I think there might be a very real issue of just fatigue and the schlep of having to get these regular boosters. What have you found out from the Health Department?
Well, the Health Department, Sally, is saying to us this really relies solely on the manufacturer. So there's a research that needs to be done, and they explain further whether you still need a booster. In this case, they're saying that there's no data that backs up that you might have to get more boosters. But at this point, they're really just waiting to hear from the manufacturer. Does it mean that you're okay now? Does it mean you can stop? What does that mean? But for now, this is just as far as they go until the manufacturer speaks to South Africa and explains further.
And I guess we're taking our lead from what other countries are doing, and hopefully at some point they'll figure out a way to make it a yearly dose.
Well, I think there is that hope from a lot of people. I mean, looking at the turnout, a lot of people are hoping that the first jab or the second jab does work. And they're hoping that the system now, that herd immunity that we've spoken about for so long, I mean, a lot of people are still hoping for that. So there is that sense on the ground that there's the hope for that.
Yeah, and we know that 80% of the population has got some form of immunity, but I suppose the question is how long it's going to last. Very quickly, what is the national vaccination rate for COVID? I know we hit 50% a while ago. Has it moved significantly past that?
Well, Sally, when the Department of Health is saying that more people are vaccinating, so we're definitely moving forward. I mean, we will hear more numbers from them, but they're saying that on a daily basis they're seeing the difference and it's growing. So more people are still getting their jabs.
Edging up slowly, but we managed to get through the fifth wave without too many problems.
Which is interesting about that, Sally, because they're saying that that fifth wave is something that they still have to look at, because generally what you have is the wave is basically based on a new variant.
Yeah,
so this was quite interesting to see that that wave came in, and so it's still something that they're looking at closely.
Yeah, exactly. We do think we know all about COVID, but the truth is it has shown us flames so many times before. We have to be very vigilant. Thank you very much for that update. That, of course, is our reporter, Nqobile Madlala.